Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer. And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into Sunshine's Corner. This is where purpose meets power and conversation creates change. Hi, I'm your Sunshine. And today it feels like everything is going upside down. I don't know what it is. I'm Sunshine, and today's conversation is that one that truly matters. We're starting off with laughter in my soul today. I'm going to share that with you one day. We're honored to have and to welcome Krista with us today. And she has been having me from Valerie's house. She's had me laughing ever since she walked in the door, but I love that energy. We're talking about an organization that has been walking alongside children, families, navigating grief with compassion, with care, all for the community. And now, if you've ever experienced loss, someone that's been close to your heart, you understand just how important it is to have a safe place to heal. And that's exactly what's Valerie's house, what she's all about. She provides a space where no child grieves alone. I love that. Krista, she is here. She's got me smiling already. And today, we're going to share some incredible steps during her journey of Valerie's house. Over the past 5 years, yay!
Yes.
And how it began and the lives that it has touched and the impact that it continues to have right here in our community. And we're celebrating this today with a young lady who I can tell why is so successful. She's so full of laughter. She's reached this special milestone, 5 years of hope, of healing and support. There's an upcoming event we're going to talk about too. That's coming up on the 29th from 4:30 to 7.
That's right.
That's right. And listen, this is an opportunity today. Thank you, Katie. It's okay. It's been a great day. Katie's my girl. But I want to say, welcome, Krista. How are you?
Thank you. I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Great. I mean, let me say this. If I could stand up, I'm all hooked up. I can't stand up.
Right.
But congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I remember we talked a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. And look at us today.
Yes, it's quite amazing. So in April of 2021, we launched our very first peer-to-peer grief support group. And now we are celebrating 5 years.
Wow.
And it has been an incredible journey. And when we've zoomed out and really looked at the impact, it's quite astounding. And
exactly.
I'm so incredibly proud of the team and for the families that turn to us, because it takes courage.
Oh God, yes.
Right, to come and meet strangers and be vulnerable and then find connection with these strangers through their shared loss.
And kids, children,
yeah,
that just touches my heart. I mean, that you have this beautiful organization that's there to help with the kids to get through, because we don't sometimes think about those little ones who's affected in a very, very, a deep way.
Right.
And I mean, with that, I can say, I don't know if I could do that. Because I have such because grief is something that we all experience.
Yes.
But nobody really talks about it.
That is so true, and a lot of people don't know how to handle it, and yet grief is one of the most universal experiences that we will all go through.
Exactly.
Yet, especially in our society, it's something that's not talked about.
That's right.
And grief manifests itself differently in every single individual, but especially children. And so that is often why people assume, well, the children is, the children, they're okay, they seem to be doing okay, they're not crying, right? But that's not the way grief manifests itself in children. It manifests in behavior struggles, in anger, in aggression, in fear, guilt, shame. These are all things that these little kids from 5-year-old all the way, up to 18 are feeling and carrying around. And most don't even know how to identify, what am I really feeling? And though at Valerie's house, they're able to understand and identify what each of those feelings are. So then we can be able to help them find healthier coping mechanisms.
Exactly. When a child comes in, when you're saying that children, we all deal with it differently, what is the most common? Is there a commonality in children?
I think there is, but I will say the most common is to not see crying right away. So, for example, my mom passed when I was 11, and I did not cry like a year specifically about her death. And so, but I cried about other things, and I cried about things that maybe my reaction to whatever I was crying about didn't fit my reaction. And that's because I'm actually releasing tears that I don't even know I'm releasing. And so that's what you see a lot in children, right? So children are in such shock when they find out about something like this. They don't even know how to act. And then when you see your caregiver upset and crying, that's also shocking, because caregivers, you know, your parents or your grandparents, they're the strong ones, right? And so it's a very confusing time for children when they first find out about it. And so oftentimes it's, you know, turning inside, or it's acting like everything's fine and nothing's going wrong. So it's unique to everybody. But crying and openly, you know, expressing mourning is not what you'll really see from a child or a teen.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's, you know, like the way I was brought up. Okay, you said you got to be the stronger one. I got to hold this in. I got to be the stronger one. But that's also hurting that adult.
Yes, it does.
So I'm thinking that I've got to be strong instead of sitting here talking to Susie. Okay, and you know, let's share this pain. But what I'm feeling, I've got to be the stronger one, and I'm okay.
Right, and you know, that's one of the reasons it's, you know, part of our model is that when the children are in their age groups doing their peer-to-peer support activity and connection, the caregivers are also meeting. So not only are they able to discuss, you know, grief through the lens of a child, but they're also able to grieve with others who are grieving.
Wow.
Right? And so oftentimes, you know, I've heard from some caregivers that the 2 nights a month that they come to Valerie's house, you know, for this 3-hour period, is the only time they get for themselves to truly open up about what they're feeling, because they are trying to be strong.
Trying to be that strong mechanism there. Yeah.
Right.
Why is grief so misunderstood, you think? I mean, it's just, that sounds like there's a misunderstanding there somewhere between those links.
Yeah, I think there is. I mean, it just, because it's so unique.
Right.
And I think that so many don't understand, you know, the impacts of grief, and especially when you lose somebody unexpectedly.
Oh God, yes.
Right, and so many people turn inwards, and you see that now in different cultures. You see, you know, a little bit different.
That was going. That was
right?
my next comment.
And so I'd love, you know, to be able to bring that more to our area. But one of the things that we do at Valerie's house is, just because the person isn't physically present, you can stay connected to them. Right. So, like for example, every year we do our Wave of Light Memorial Ceremony. And it's just for our families and our volunteers, and it's 350 people, and we all come together in a circle and we say the person's name and turn on a candle, right, and light it for them. But we're honoring them and staying connected with them, and you know, that's something that is common in other cultures, but not so much here. And so that's something, you know, that's one of the facets of our program is, how do you stay connected with somebody?
Absolutely. And you know, I'm hearing and I see on your face, there's so much love there for what you do. It takes a strong person to handle that, because you're dealing, I mean, with your team, all the different things that you're having to deal with. I applaud you.
Thank you.
I really do, because that's
an
that's
amazing
heavy.
team. We always say small but mighty.
Exactly. Because you're helping so many others that need the help, and because I know of some people that have used your services. I sure do. And what does grief actually, when we're talking about just grief, why is it so important that we address this early and don't let this just fester there? Because the longer it sits.
This is one of my biggest talking points with the community, and is that many don't realize that grief and unsupported grief from childhood, you know, the ripple effects can be felt across our entire community. Right? So unsupported childhood grief and trauma, right, leads to problems that then manifest when these children become adults.
Right.
And then that impacts things like workforce productivity, safety, crime rates, you know, our substance abuse rates, suicide rates. All of those things are impacted by how we support children when they're in trauma. So for instance, we know that 33% of the children in Florida's juvenile detention system have lost a parent. 70% of them have had 2 significant losses. Like right there, right? They're turning to risk-taking behaviors. They're more vulnerable to fall into a crowd that
Really?
leads to these type things. Yes. We also know that children who, with unsupported grief, I'm attached to this table, they are 5 times more likely to struggle with addiction, with anxiety, and with depression. They're 2 to 4 times more likely to develop a substance abuse problem if their person actually had a substance abuse problem who they're grieving.
Right.
We know that, there was like 60% of the teens who are grieving an overdose death within 18 months will turn to the very substance that put them into their grief. So if we're...
What did I say that again?
So 60% of teens who are grieving the death
Right.
of their person from an overdose,
right.
substance abuse, death, related death, those 60% of them are more likely to try
the very
thing. Substances, right, that put them into their grief within like the first 12 to 18 months. It is critical. What we do changes the trajectory of their lives and therefore how they touch our community as they go into adults. Right? So we know that they're also at a much greater likelihood of committing suicide, which is going up in our area. But however, we know that 90% of the children who do receive support in like a peer-to-peer setting, it reduces their feelings of isolation and they don't feel alone and they are able to talk about what they're going through. 90% of them, right? 70% of them develop emotional regulation. I know a bunch of adults who could use that too.
I could name off 2 on the top of my head right now.
I'll confess I can be probably some of that too. So not denying I can't work on it myself. But and then we have 45% of children who receive support, they are 45% less likely to develop any type of prolonged anxiety and depression. And all of that impacts the way that they show up as adults, which then impacts our society. So this is how we change our society.
So exactly, and what you're doing is that component that's missing in the middle,
right?
To keep them online so that they won't be a statistic.
And the other thing is that when you were talking about how grief manifests itself is in education, in grades, and performance, right? So we know that 1 in 4 children who are grieving will repeat a grade. 1 in 4, yes. We know on average there is about 2 grieving children per classroom, and many teachers are unaware. Per classroom in Florida, and many teachers are unaware of this, and we know that they're 2 times more likely, just in general, to see grades drops, loss in concentration, loss in attendance, right? But again, coming and doing support with Valerie's House or getting grief counseling somewhere else, 68% of them are not going to see those struggle with that.
Absolutely. Doesn't that make you feel good that, the part that you're playing in helping with tomorrow, with so many people out there, that, when we realize the things that we are suffering with, the things that we need help with, knowing that you need help, accepting the help that's there can change the whole trajectory of a person's life.
Yes, nothing warms our heart more than hearing directly from a child about their impact, or from a parent just saying you all are really changing lives. And my child's, and a recent one is one of our moms shared with us that the teacher of one of our kids is so impressed with how he openly talks about his grief journey over his brother, and how he's a junior ambassador at Valerie's House and how much he loves Valerie's House. And it's so heartwarming. It's those type situations, and when we hear those things, that it warms your heart and it makes everything we do
it
so
looks
worth
like it's not a doubt in my mind, because there are so many people that talk about Valerie's House. There are so people. I was at an event, I believe I was at Baptist a few weeks ago, and no, Sacred Heart.
Okay.
And no, we got to go to Valerie's House. the entire group went to Valerie's house after we did the program we were doing there Sacred. And that's how I know them. I mean, but I say that because when you connect the dots, when there's something that's needed and it's being fulfilled, and knowing that it's already out in the air of what you provide, that deserves a great big aha moment anyway.
Thank you.
Because of the fact there's so many people who start things, they don't have that to go through that rough part on the things that are needed, and you have to have that strength to do it, and you've done that.
Thank you.
Because so many people mention Valerie House. I mean, I'm out there in the streets and I talk to a lot of people, and I mean,
yeah, that's so nice to hear. I actually was at my own doctor's appointment the other day, and she said to me, she's like, I never hear a bad word. She goes, I see about 10 other, I see, I've seen about 10 individuals who have, been a part of your program, and everything I hear is just absolutely amazing. And that's the type of feedback that's so important for me and for our team to hear, like the blood, sweat, and tears that they're putting into caring for these families.
Exactly.
And hearing that knows, okay, yes, we are making a difference.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
Teamwork. Because you have to have are willing to get to the level that you're going, and you've accomplished that.
Yeah, we've done and so in preparation for our open house on the 29th.
Right.
This is just simply a time to celebrate and thank the community. It's a drop-in event. Just stop in. If you haven't seen the place, you get to see it. There'll be children there giving tours and families. It's just a celebration. And to say thank you for, we wouldn't be able to make this impact without the community coming alongside this journey with us. And so what we're doing, you'll actually be able to walk through the years of our growth right throughout the house. So we will have, stations really showing how we started, how we're growing, what are the things we're doing. And so in preparation for doing this, we were zooming out. And I always look at this on a yearly perspective, but now looking at it over 5 years, it's really quite amazing. And we couldn't do it without the team and our amazing volunteers, but we've done 55,000 hours of care in 5 years. 55,000.
Well, numbers speak for themselves.
Yes.
Okay.
Right? 375 group nights. We have started with 2 group nights in April of 2021, two a month. We do 18 a month now.
18
a month.
You got the whole month almost.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be.
Yes.
I mean, it's amazing what you're doing, and that's what it takes, ladies and gentlemen. When it's something that I believe in completing the entire puzzle. When you think about a puzzle and it's laid out, all these things got to connect so that puzzle will become complete. You are doing your part with your puzzle. You are connecting. You're connecting the families, and I mean, and an emotional connection. Oh, emotionally.
Yeah.
That's a strong entity to step into, because so many people deal with things in different ways. I commend you on that. Stay more right here with us, because we're going to talk even more about the events that's coming up on the 29th, and some more things that we can just open up the door to talk about what Valerie's house, what she also brings to this community. And I thank you, Krista. I truly do. We'll be back with more right here on Sunshine's Corner.
For 75 years, we've been caring for families, creating jobs, and working to build a healthier community. This is your home, and ours too. We're honored to be the trusted partner in your care. Baptist Healthcare, here for you then, now, and always.
At FPL, we plan for storm season all year long. We're strengthening poles to better withstand severe weather. We're clearing lines to improve resiliency, and we're constantly training teams to act at a moment's notice. Because we're always working, always preparing. So when storms do hit, you can count on us. FPL, working for you every single day.
Step into your hometown boot store right here in Pensacola, Florida. The largest selections of Western boots and attire, including our own style of custom Anderson bean. The boot store also carries a great selection on workwear from boots to fire-resistant clothing. When you're looking for authentic wear, accompanied with authentic service, show up at your hometown boot store where you're more like family than you are a customer. And remember, the savings and selection are found behind the big red boot.
I'm Kathy Holsworth, Artistic Director at Pensacola Little Theater. Join me on the first Monday of every month at 7 p.m. for the Center Stage, where me and my artistic friends talk about all things on the stage and at the Clark Family Cultural Center. Join us, won't you?
Early detection saves lives. The Florida Department of Health and Escambia County's Regional Florida Breast and Cervical Cancer Early Detection Program is hosting a mobile mammography event on Wednesday, May 20th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 1718 East Olive Road in Pensacola, Florida. Free or low-cost mammograms will be provided to eligible women 40 to 64 who do not have health insurance and have low income. Walk-ins are welcome. To see if you qualify, call 850-316-2706.
And welcome back to a conversation today I feel that is so necessary. As we were talking off camera, now Krista would tell some things about Valerie's house that from the beginning to now, with registration and people who are trying to get in, let's go there.
Yeah.
And you were also, come on, we just got to cover that because I couldn't believe the number.
Right. So, we started our very first group with 15 kids, 10 caregivers. And, now, 5 years later, we've enrolled active who come to Valerie's house for our programming. It's 850. However, when you add some of the extended family who also joins, especially on our stigmatized death group, it's way over 1,000 people that have, actively received care from Valerie's house. And then these individuals are going out in the community and impacting so many others, right? Just by their presence and understanding and the fact that they're
When you say
running.
stigmatize, talk about,
Yeah, so we have a night dedicated to the deaths that society very often stigmatizes people for. And then people don't even feel like they can tell people that they're grieving because their person passed from an overdose or took their own life or murder, right? So there's even a greater feel of shame in their grief. And so it's so important that we provide that space at Valerie's house. Right? Those things happen, but they're addiction, mental health that leads to taking your own life. That's a disease just like cancer.
Is it exactly?
But people do not look at it like that. So, that's one of our largest groups.
I think about what the children, how they are affected from a child that's in an atmosphere like that. And I often tell people, when you see children, what they see at home is what you're gonna see out there.
Right.
What you see, how they react is how they are at home. And I think about when you think about children when they're affected, and don't feel bad if there's something that's going on that you need to talk about, parents as well.
Yes.
If you have a problem with substance abuse, think about there's somebody else you're affecting as well. So get the help that you need.
Right.
You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Because things happen. That stuff is addictive. And then all that trickles down, and it rolls right on onto the children. And I gotta say this too, because I see sometimes, Krista, I can walk past sometimes and I see these kids. They're in the car. And when they jump out the car, there's a smoke bomb. Poof! And the kids are in the car.
Yeah.
I see this here with that child is just as high as you. No, you're laughing, but it is.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
That's what you see.
that's what you see. So that's affecting that child as
Absolutely.
much. And when that child, I had a counselor on one before about school, and they said when they said to the white child coming to school smelling like weed. Well, hello.
Well, right.
When you're in the car,
Yeah.
push.
Or the house.
Or the house,
Right.
push.
Right.
That all comes with affecting the children and the grief. That some persons may think that, okay, I'm grieving, so let me get high.
There's so many ways that people, negative coping mechanisms, and that's one of the reasons that, we make grief, we help normalize grief because everybody goes through it.
Right.
And once you understand it, then you can, better learn how to deal with it. But I want to go back to something because it reminded me of something that we put a lot of focus on in caring for our families, and it's something that we have learned as we've grown, is that so many of our families are dealing with so many other things besides just grief.
Of course.
Right? And many have food insecurities, many have financial insecurities, many need legal help because maybe it's the aunt who now is taking her niece and nephew and they need guardianship. And so we, have spent a lot of time cultivating a huge network of partners, right, that we can engage with to help our families. So we are connecting them to the right people. Right now we have about 72 partners that we are working with regularly. We have 25 really core partners, that are around, helping us care for our families in different ways, or, we're doing joint collaboration groups like at Pace Center for Girls. We do a group inside of Pace Center for Girls. Okay. And, then others are giving unique experiences to these kids, right?
That was on my thing to talk about experiences next.
And so we are so grateful for, the community and the way that so many have been open to these, to discussions on how we can serve the family, not just in their grief, but overall trying to help improve their overall life and well-being as they're going through this journey.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that has also, been incredibly helpful in our growth, is bringing, the community together to not only understand grief, but then we have people like the Satori Foundation who, they give our kids fishing poles and allow them to come and do special things that they wouldn't be able to experience otherwise.
Exactly.
Pensacola Opera, the Pensacola Children's Chorus was just at Valerie's house on Monday night, doing songs with kids. On Tuesday night we had Pensacola Beach Songwriters, who they're part of that festival in October. We had songwriters come to Valerie's house on Tuesday night and they created songs with the songwriters. And it's beautiful and so moving and so healing. And so, when we talk about what we're doing it also with the community.
Right.
And I think that it's so important and we're so blessed, but we didn't set out to develop all these collaborations. It's what we started noticing as our families were coming to us.
Unbelievable. But that has got to be, it's so needed is what the point that I'm trying to make. What makes Valerie's House so different from other support systems with what you do?
Well, what I hear from others is that the minute they step into Valerie's house, they feel safe.
Okay.
And accepted. And it's calming at times because kids are still kids and they're running around being crazy. Like, Valerie's house is not a place of sadness, it's a place of joy. Right? And it's the way that we are focused on not our differences, but what we all have in common. It doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter your religion. That we are all coming together to support each other through a shared experience, right? And so you always hear of the Valerie's House family. Like, that's what it is. It's a family. It's a community.
Right.
And I think that's something that makes it special. And then, personally, I went through grief as a child.
Okay.
And while I was given support, it wasn't the support I needed at the time. And so my passion comes through in what I do, because I don't want children to have to, suffer or choose some of the same negative coping mechanisms that I did, right? And these families. There's so much that we can do just by giving someone space.
Absolutely.
To share and connect.
Absolutely. You said something else I think that is utterly important. You said that the messages that you're getting when you walk into the door, the welcoming feeling that they have.
Yeah.
So that's got to be great for the parents and a child.
And inviting.
Inviting that, okay, I'm okay here. It's not like I'm standoffish on the wall.
Right.
You over here, you over here. No, you are inviting to make them feel welcome where they are. Because if a child feel it, a child will say it. I mean, children don't hold back anything.
Yeah, no, they don't.
They tell it like it is. A child will tell you in a heartbeat. I mean, cute example was this little girl years ago, and yes, I'm very tall, and she was sitting on the floor. She looked up, she said, "Oh, wait, she is so big," but she didn't, you know, instead of saying tall, she said, "Oh, wait," she just went up, "She is so big." But the fact of it is, that's how kids are, and I believe if adults were more like that, I'm just real.
Right.
I mean, when it comes to empathy,
Yes.
what are you doing? What you're doing is truly life-changing, creating safe spaces for healing and a new beginning. When you see a child, when you see them start to break down to come through, what is that difference in the way that they act or the way that they let it out when you know that you're reaching them? How do you know that child? What if they're dealing with, my mama died, you know, and the child is so, why I don't see grandma, why I don't see mother anymore? How do they, I can't even ask what I'm feeling.
So, like, how do you see if a child's making progress?
Yes.
And so, very, you know, it's unique per child, right?
Right.
Some you see little bits over time.
Of course.
Right? And so sometimes it's difficult to really see, like, am I making a difference? Is this making a difference? Is this helping? But then all of a sudden, 6 months later, they start sharing something very profound about their coping mechanisms, or they're talking to a new person who comes in and you hear them say something like, my brother died and I've been coming here for like a year and I love it and it's a really fun place and you're going to be able to talk about your feelings. Like, that's, you hear those type things, right? Then there's, you know, oftentimes you'll see another child comforting another child.
Oh, how wonderful.
Right? You hear from caregivers that, you know, the children are doing great in school and they have confidence to go out and try new things.
Right.
And that's how you know that this is working and this is making,
I got you.
This is making a difference. And yes, there are definitely times when kids do major breakthroughs. Like, we had one child who always shared at the, you know, for a couple months, that the way that his special person, who was his dad, passed away was very heroic. He was rescuing people and his helicopter, you know, crashed. And that's not actually what happened. And after 2 months, he was doing an activity that finally allowed him to say out loud, you know, how his dad
He created this.
So that's when you see some of these, there's breakthrough moments and things like that. But a lot of times you don't see it right away. And we have volunteers who are like, I don't even know if I'm making a difference, or they didn't like the activity tonight, they didn't want to talk about grief. Well, we're all about forming connections and bonds. And that doesn't just mean that you sit around and talk about your grief. And so if kids need to just get to know each other to bond, that's okay. Right?
Unbelievable.
And so there'll be, you know, at the event, there'll also be an opportunity to see, you know, not only some of our families and junior ambassadors, but actually stories and quotes from our children directly from them.
That advancement
Yeah.
is just slowly getting there, but you know that you're making a difference.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with, I almost said Valerie again.
Everybody does.
I mean, I got you. We're talking with Krista about Valerie's house, and there's so many things that's going on that you see. If you've want to talk to her, 850-432-7768. I always like to put the community, when it's something like this involved, or to reach out to touch somebody when you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
These are ways we can connect right here. We'll be back with more on Sunshine's Corner.
You finally found the perfect car in Racing Blue. You even got them to throw in the LED fog lights for free. Auto Owners insures your car because some people never learn to parallel park. That's simple human sense.
Ask the Messick Insurance Agency in Pensacola if auto owners make sense for you.
Keep going. More. No, stop!
I'm Emily Echeverria, Marketing Communications Director for Council on Aging of West Florida and the host of Coming of Age. Watch our show to find out what we're doing for our seniors and their families and hear from area experts and local business owners about their programs and services. Want to help? Find out how you can work with us to bring a better future to our seniors. Watch Coming of Age, 3:30 p.m. Wednesdays, only on Blab TV.
And welcome back to this edition of Sunshine's Corner. We're talking today about Valerie's House, celebrating 5 years. That is a milestone that deserves a great big hoorah. I mean, the things that you have accomplished in helping those in the community who are in need is what we need to learn to do. You've taken this, and I can remember the first conversation we had. Now look at you today, all bubbly, bubbly, bubbly. I mean, because of all of the difference that you're making. What does this 5th year anniversary, what does that mean to you and what you've done with these families?
Well, to me, as we were touching on earlier, just kind of zooming out and looking at the broader picture about the number of hours of care that has been delivered through our, because of our volunteers and because of our team and our partners.
But of course.
And it's just, it's amazing to know that I've been able to help bring all these people together to make it happen.
Right.
But it's not me, right?
Of course,
it's everybody, and the team that I have is so absolutely amazing, and I'm incredibly blessed when I think about how far we've come. I mean, for the first 18 months, I was still working full time in corporate America.
I understand.
Right, and so just being able to go through this growth and transition and take a step back, it's very encouraging. It's encouraging for the future, and another great milestone marking kind of this 5 years is that when we started as a chapter.
Right.
And this past January, so January 1, we started as our own independent entity. So that is super exciting. We're our own 501c3, our own governing board, which will be expanding and opening up opportunities for others to participate in our mission, and
right.
From that standpoint. And we did that really so that we can focus all of our programming and our future strategy things just into our region and what our region needs.
Of course.
And so that's another huge milestone, and it's very exciting, and it's a big transition as well. But I love that it coincides with our 5 years, right? And so it's something that when the founder of Valerie's House out of Fort Myers, Angela, and I first started talking, and she's like, well, let's start a chapter because it'll help you make an impact faster and will help you get started. We always planned that I would be independent one day. And so for us to, work through that.
I mean, not Valerie. What was her name that was with
Angela.
you? Angela was with you all the way.
Yeah, so her and I, we'll start you as a chapter and then you'll become your own entity. And so that's always been our plan, her and our strategic plan. And then to see that come to fruition just shows that there's so much need for what we are doing and providing, and how important it is, and how much the community has embraced it, right? That makes all of these things possible, and that makes me just proud, and it warms my heart, and mostly to see our families and children.
But the fact of it is, the two of you sat there This is the plan.
Yeah.
This is what my vision is. I see it this way. You spoke it.
Yeah.
Now you're in it,
Yeah.
and it's growing.
Right.
And it will continue to grow because your foundation is to help others.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about. Don't hold it in your hand. You're sharing it. And I think that's what makes our community so important. There are so many different things that are happening in the world today. When it comes to the children, we should want to put them at the top no matter what. I feel for the families who are going through situations. To have to deal with things like that. But when you find out that there's a place that offers what you need, that deserves a great big hoorah itself. When it comes down to the celebration of when you say almost 1,000 people, whew, that's good. That's growth. And when you hear and see a child, I cannot get over the fact when you said this baby was talking, said, well, he passed away in a helicopter and he was all of this. But then he came to the realization, okay, going through the program. He could say it out
loud. He knew that he could say it out loud.
Yeah, that it's okay. My father died like this. Instead of saying he was in a helicopter, da-da-da-da-da. When it comes to the parents, are they more difficult? I'm being real. That's the only way you know. You ask questions. Are they more difficult to get the breakthrough?
No, I don't think so. So I think what you see with our caregiver groups, and each of our caregiver groups are actually led by either our licensed mental health professional, or we have a group that we contract with. Well, it's not a group. We contract with individuals who are licensed mental health professionals to lead the caregiver group, because part of it is, a little more analytical, and we are sharing, more tips and tricks. And there's just a lot that these caregivers are unpacking. But I'm going to tell you, no, they will unpack. What you see is very similar to the journey of a child. So a child comes in, they're going to their group. They're a little hesitant to share or talk until they hear their neighbor talking about, oh yeah, my brother died of an overdose, and they're like, oh, you too, right? And they start talking about it.
You're the only one that's dealing with that.
So we see caregivers who come in. Many can't. They walk through the doors, their first group, and they break into tears, and sometimes they can't talk during their first caregiver group, right? But then you see them go through this journey, and then 6 months later they're sharing everything and talking about all the things that are going on with them, and then in 12 months they're welcoming that new person who's walking through the door, and they're telling them it does get better. We talk about, I still grieve. I can grieve without pain. And so when I hear someone say, I understand what you mean by that now,
exactly.
Ms. Krista or Krista, like, I understand that. Like, grief doesn't go away, it changes. Right? So my grief today manifests itself when my daughter reaches a milestone that I didn't have my own mother for.
Okay.
Right? So then I kind of have a wave of grief. Right? And so that's different. Right? But I'm aware of these things that happen, right? And it's only because of that awareness that then I'm able to just recognize and honor that I'm just having, a little bit of grief. So the caregivers, when a caregiver can hear from another caregiver, this is where I was, this is what my journey looked like here within Valerie's house.
Here's where I am
and
today.
I'm here for you, and here's my number, and and when you hear like another father sharing this with another father, it gives them the okay to be vulnerable.
Okay.
Right? You think that men don't want to be vulnerable? No, I some of the strongest, individuals that I see, like strongest men have learned to be so open and vulnerable, and that takes courage.
You know what?
And they turn that into, from people think it's weakness. No, and it's beautiful, and so it all comes back to it's community. It is coming together around shared experiences and helping somebody else through the same journey.
In my thought process, I don't know why I was just thinking women.
Yeah.
In my thought process,
a lot of people lose their mom.
I was only thinking women. But the fact,
Our very first family we enrolled was a little girl who lost her mom and her dad. And they are, I mean, now very close friends. They're family ambassadors. They're at every event.
do they still think they have to be Mr. Macho?
Gosh, no, not at all. They are sharing and advocating for, Valerie's house and being open and sharing.
Course.
Yeah, they're amazing. But what I'm saying is that you were saying I was only thinking about women. Like our very first, family that enrolled was a dad and his daughter.
Oh wow. But when you said that, in my mind, my thought process, it was only women. I could see women and the little kids. I mean, oh my God,
Yeah.
but that is so, thank you, Lord. When it comes down to this, now by my saying that also, is there a spiritual point for some people that's there? When they want to talk spirituality?
Yeah, so that's interesting because we're asking, are you a faith-based organization? We are not a faith-based organization. Yet religion and spirituality is
a part of it,
right? And I always share with people, especially those of faith, that everybody grieves, and it's universal, and it doesn't matter what your faith is or your background, right? And so our program is, about focusing on what we have in common,
right?
But people bring their religion, their faith, their spirituality into the groups, and they'll share what might help them, right? We have a lot of conversations with especially the little kids of, they'll bring up heaven or hell, and as often as possible, we do not want to interrupt these conversations and see how they transpire, and they're actually, they're beautiful. But one of the key kind of rules of Valerie's house is to respect others, and what works for you in your background might be different from mine, and that's okay.
Different cultures.
And we celebrate our differences, and we come together around our similarities.
Exactly.
And so that is something that we strive to talk about, and what it does too is it teaches, as kind of an extra effect of being in the program, is how to embrace others who are different.
Exactly.
Right? Many families would never know the other if it wasn't for this experience around Valerie's house and grief, and that's something too that we've watched that's been it's been beautiful to see, right? We have families who are very, very, financially secure, and we have those who we, have to Uber and we send home with food. They would never interact. But at Valerie's house, they do. And all they see is how can we support each other, and that is beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Right? You don't see that enough in our community.
Say it again.
So many things, could be prevented.
I think so
through
too.
Conversations around how you perceive something. Might not at all be the way I intended it.
Exactly.
But if we don't talk about it, that is how problems and resentments and all of
that stuff
start happening. So
exactly.
Another byproduct of coming to Valerie's house is just learning emotions and empathy and emotional resilience, and being able to identify, what, I'm not angry. I'm in fear, but it's coming across as anger.
Gotcha. Maybe I got that part.
I'm
not in fear. I'm not in fear. but we're talking about something that's absolutely important to the community, and that's what Valerie House provides for men, women, children.
Grandparents.
There you go, grandparents, everybody. And the fact of it is, one thing I love when I ask that question is that there's a difference in culture. And there's a different way that certain people handle different things. But the fact of it is, your doors are open to reach out, to allow those people to verbalize what they're dealing with, no matter what cultural background you come from.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about. We're going to talk more. I can't believe it's going by so fast. We're going to be talking more about this 5-year celebration that's going on, that's coming up on the 29th when we return, right here on Sunshine's Corner.
My name's Kelly McLeod. I'm the owner of Bella Magazine. Bella is a source of uplifting and inspiring content for the women of Pensacola.
I think the magazine is just so thoughtfully done. There's a lot of attention to detail. The stories are really good.
You've got seriousness, you've got fun, education, fashion. It just encompasses everything.
Women are multidimensional, and so is Bella.
The Emerald Coast Utilities Authority's state-of-the-art materials recycling facility processes recyclables for communities throughout the region, lowering need for more landfills. This highly efficient recycling service accepts glass, paper, cardboard, plastics, aluminum, and more. But we need your help. Please make sure your recyclables are clean of garbage, food, and liquids. Also, please remember that plastic shopping bags, foam products, or yard waste are not recyclable. To learn more, go to livegreenecua.com.
From the efficiency of American natural gas and the dependability of nuclear power, to the strength of Florida's sunshine and the flexibility of advanced battery storage systems, we leverage a diverse mix of energy sources to power our growing state, ensuring reliable, low-cost power for your home or business whenever you need it. FPL, working for you every single day.
Well, I think it's all about local, and I'm a big believer in local. So I think anytime you can carry a message out locally, it's important. And I think it's anytime the person that delivers the service can also deliver the message, which is unusual. You have the people that actually deliver the project doing the talking, and I think that's a huge difference, and really makes a huge value difference for the consumer. So I'm really just so grateful that we have this local opportunity with Blab TV. My name is Quint Studer, and I am Blab TV.
And welcome back to this edition of Sunshine's Corner, where we give you the opportunity to reflect, to connect, and celebrate all that's made possible through Valerie's house. And we're talking about a celebration that's going to be taking place right there on the 29th. Talk about that event. Listen, I want to keep that last part, because can you believe this is our last break?
No.
I can't believe that we've gone by so quickly. But with this celebration, everybody's invited. I see that there's a QR code and everything on it. Talk about that, what they need to do.
And the QR code is just to, help us plan for the numbers. I mean, I'm expecting probably, close to 250 who will just come through the house during that time.
Right.
Right. So it's just a drop in, an open house, a thank you for, being part of this journey with us, for the impact that you're making, being able to see that impact, or directly from the families, and during this time. And I mentioned earlier, you can walk through and see our journey in growth in our numbers.
Exactly.
Looking at the various things that we're doing with our families, some of our major accomplishments, like getting the actual location, our permanent location, and getting an impact grant to have a kitchen, thank goodness.
Oh, wow.
And so it's exciting to share this.
I mean, they are the bomb.
And then our backyard, we'll have, the games that we put out for kids will be out in the backyard as well. So giant Jengas and giant Connect Fours, and what's that beanbag one?
Yeah, that.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So that people can come and really experience, we don't just sit around and, be sad and talk about grief. There is free time first, and kids are playing and having fun, and balls are going all over the place, right? And caregivers are just getting to know each other over a shared meal before we have groups.
Exactly.
And so you get to experience what it's like, and, light refreshments, and just come and celebrate. Yeah, and it's just a drop in anytime.
When I think about it, I have this visual in my thought process now, thinking about when the kids are outside and they're playing, talking to other kids, and the fact how they can really inspire another child. When they get to that level, then that child is helping that child to say, okay, well, my daddy died, or my mom passed away, my sister, brother, whatever it is. The things that they're dealing with. Because when you sit back and you listen to children, it's amazing, the conversations. So I can imagine them going through the process of dealing with grief of that loved one that they are not here with, to just sit back. I'm not in the conversation with them, but I'm sitting there and I'm listening to the conversation. I think that's amazing, because when you hear children talk, like I said, they tell it like it is. They don't hold anything back. And what you're doing since you opened in 2021, and look at this, God, it's 2026 right now. We're celebrating big time. Everybody, please, if you know of someone that needs help, if it's you, reach out to Valerie's house.
Yeah.
Where are you located?
We are located on 904 East Gadsden Street, and if you don't want to remember that address, just everybody knows where Krispy Kreme is.
That's
on
right.
9th and Cervantes. We are right behind Krispy Kreme. We share a driveway with them. They are fantastic neighbors, so everybody go get a donut.
Yeah, when that light is blinking.
Yeah.
Once upon a time when I used to eat those things, but I just rushed to get those donuts. Woo! But if I look at them now, no. But I tell you, Krista, I want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
I want to say continue what you're doing because there's such a need for that in our community. And everybody go out and celebrate. Go by and visit. Walk the halls. Meet the caregivers. Meet her team that she speaks so highly of. That it's her team that works with her that causes this to be such a success.
Yes.
It is. Thank you for all that you do. What do you want to say to them before we got last minute?
Just, thank you to the entire community for supporting our mission and what we do. You are making an impact by just knowing about us and sharing with others. And if you need support, know someone who needs support, just find us on Facebook at Valerie's House, Northwest Florida, or Instagram, and reach out to us. There's a lot of ways to get involved as well.
Exactly.
So we have a lot of volunteer groups that come and do things. People bring meals.
Yeah.
And there's so many fun ways to get to know our mission, and would love to get you involved. And just
reach out and find a way that you can be a part of it.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Krista. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to get out of here, but don't forget now, always know that there's help out here already for you. We've got to go, but I'll leave it with you as I do every single day. Never, ever, ever, ever lose your focus. Always remember, if you keep God first, I guarantee you, you'll be a total success. So until tomorrow for another day of sunshine and a whole lot of information, know that I love you with the perfect kind of love. Keep shining while I'm gone. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.